Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds.
And today we are talking about novellas and whether we like them or not. Overall, Joe, do you read a novella or no?
So my experience with novellas is I first learned about them when Karen Slaughter, she writes like graphic detective novels, wrote a few. And I found a title that I never heard of and I was like frantic. I'm like, I missed a book by Karen Slaughter?
Right.
Like this cannot be.
Right.
So I looked into it and it was an ebook only.
You were disappointed, I can tell.
And everybody knows my feelings about ebooks. I stay away from them. They're the devil's work. So I was like, so then I went high and low trying to find this, and I actually downloaded like a reader on my laptop and got the book somehow.
So you read it?
And I read it.
All right.
Just the one.
And you've never read any other novella?
She did a few. I only read the one by her. I mean, maybe I might have forgotten a few, possibly.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're not something that I like read continuously or like religiously.
Right.
You?
So I've had different opinions on this over time. So my very first experience was when the Harry Potter series had Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then Quidditch Through the Ages, I think is what they were called. And I was so excited because at the time, you know, this was before I used Goodreads or anything. It was long ago in my youth. And at the time, I thought like, oh my God, there's more books to Harry Potter. You know, who didn't tell me about this?
Exactly.
Right? And then they were not stories. Did you see those books?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I've seen them. I haven't read them.
Yeah, they were like textbooks for a kid that's in Hogwarts, and it was not pleasurable to read. It didn't round out the story further for me or anything like that. And so it kind of put me off. If there's any kind of companion to a series, I did not want to touch them at all.
Yeah.
So I have to say only within the past maybe 2 years have I started to read these little novellas, because I feel like they're not what I thought they were. You know, there's so many that actually do add to the story. And so for the first ones that I picked up in the past 2 years was for the Three Dark Crowns series by Kendare Blake. And she had written 2 short stories about the queens that when they were young, like their children, their story when they were little kids before they got separated.
Cool.
And it was short, but it was fun to read. I had read the whole series already, and then reading that kind of just like brought it back to life for me. And then she also wrote one about a queen, the Oracle Queen, who was referenced in the story, but it was like, you know, she had done something in history that impacted the current story. So then there was a short novella about that Oracle Queen during her time of life.
How short?
So those were only available, I wanted to get them through the library and I couldn't get them on my Kindle. I could only read them on my phone, which drove me insane. I hate reading on my phone. So I can't even tell you how short they were. I don't have like a reference of like if I were to pinch them, how tiny they were. They were definitely under 100 pages. They were quick, very quick reads, but I enjoyed them.
All right.
You know, so they were legit stories that had a beginning, middle, and end about something that was relevant to the stories that I had read and loved. So I was like, all right, maybe I do need to read these 0.5 things in the future. So,
I mean, why not if you love the series?
Right.
I mean,
so then I started, I'm like on a mission. So any series that I've read, I just made a list of all the ones that I'm missing these little novellas for, and I just started diving into that. So I'd say back up a bit. Maybe like in the past year, I went and sought out the ones that were for the Divergent series. They wrote about the character 4, and from his perspective, like there are 4 short books about him. So I read all of that and I enjoyed it because I haven't read Divergent in a long time, and just like it woke up some of my interest in that again. But then just very recently, you said to me during one of our videos, Mary, did you know that The Cruel Prince has another book? And it's this one, How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. And so I had said I want to read all of Holly Black's books, and you told me that she had another one. I was like, oh my God, I have to read it. This was like the first one that I was disappointed in again. So I'm not happy because I love Holly Black. And I thought that, you know, it would bring the story back for me and it would be like a whole another kind of chapter or something. But this one was a little bit fairy tale-ish, and it was like, you know, it was almost like Grimm's fairy tales, kind of like in with the characters from the book.
I love that.
Okay, so you maybe
I might like it. I love the illustrations.
And I'm sure there's lots of people that love this, and it is illustrated really. It's cool.
I feel like that's the focus, no?
I don't know. I mean, it's got pictures. It is very cute.
Ooh.
You like that one?
Look at that one.
Yeah, so it is very cute. It's very unique, and it's nice for the eyes. So my eyes enjoyed it, but as far as like my brain with the story, not as much.
Yeah, when I was in the bookstore, I saw Holly Black and I saw that title, and I'm like, I don't recognize that title.
Yeah.
Because me and you talk a lot about this. I'm like, did Mary read this?
No. So there is another one also, and I'm wondering that she wrote, and I think it's called The Lost Sisters, and I have it loaded on my Kindle, and I will be reading it. And I don't know if that's going to be the same kind of thing, or if it's going to give me an actual story that I want, because I actually want a little story in my novella. What do you guys think? Like, have you read novellas that it's, you know, you're disappointed with? You have an expectation of what should be in it, and then you don't get that? I don't know. But I've read some others that I've also enjoyed. I'm currently working through the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and so this one I think was 3.5, this story. It's A Court of Frost and Starlight, and this is by Sarah J. Maas.
Great titles.
Yeah, they're all a court of something. I did not yet read the fourth book that's coming after this, but this one, I feel like the reason that this was a 0.5 and is a novella and not a full book is because there wasn't any action to this one. It was like just the character's life, and they're celebrating a solstice holiday, and it's beautiful, and you get to enjoy their relationship and enjoy some family tensions and things like that, and how they're going to resolve it without major war brewing and terrible things going on in their community. So it's just like this is a beautiful type of novella. I really enjoyed this because this was like 170 pages or something. So it was a good length story, more about my characters that I've been enjoying, without being something that like took away from the story, if that makes sense, you know?
Got it. Yeah. So Mary, we enjoyed the Everyday series by David Levithan. Didn't you read 6 Earlier Days?
I did. 6 Earlier Days was ebook only, and you were like, well, I'm not reading it. And I couldn't remember if I had read it when we did our review for the books. So I went and I got it on my Kindle again, and I read it, and then I realized I had read it already. So it wasn't, you know, necessarily a memorable one, because it was just 6 earlier days of the life of this character, and his life is very interesting, and it was interesting to read it. But you know, if it didn't stick in my brain as its own separate real true story. But when I read it at the time of all the other books, now that I think back on it, it was nice because it just gave you a little bit more if you weren't ready to let go of the series and the characters.
Yes.
But reading it like, you know, a year after the series, it woke some of that up for me, and I remembered it a little bit better, but I didn't feel like I needed it so much later.
Right.
You know, I feel like I would like these things as I'm reading the series. I want them all together.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wonder how far it was published after the last one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, listening to you talk, like, I feel like these are not very well promoted. There are so many of these books that I didn't know existed.
Right.
Like, I wonder what the author's intent is. I don't know.
Like, do you just want to whet the appetite of your readers? You just have something in your brain you need to get out on paper? I don't know. I feel like I've definitely missed them when they're out there, unless I go looking. I'm very OCD, so like going through my Goodreads, I was thinking, well, I have to plan what I'm going to be reading coming up, and I said, let's pick apart the series that I've finished and see what else I need to read so that I can check that completely off. So I really wonder, do any of you guys seek these out? How do you find out about these novellas? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let us know.
Now, what about this one? Did we talk about this one?
I didn't talk about that one. This one's on my to-read list. I didn't write it down. I only read the first book in this series, and so I saw that this was available in the library, so I grabbed it because it's got 2 of the novellas in this one, and I think it comes later on in the series. I think I'm going to wait to read any of the novellas till I finish the Red Queen series.
Okay.
There's 4 books, I think, in that series, and there's 3 novellas, so I think I'll read all of them at the end. There's 2 of them in here. But I saw it, so I had to have it in my hand because I was like, I'm reading this presently, so I want to get to it.
Oh, I know of some novellas.
Yeah?
Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page.
Yeah.
I have them all, but I didn't read them.
And she has novellas, but I didn't read them.
She's got like volumes of them.
You're hilarious.
Yeah, they're fun, but those are novellas.
Okay.
They're all together in like a book, so it looks like a regular size book, but there's like 3 or 4 novellas in there.
Uh-huh.
I own novellas, and I didn't even know it.
I'm not surprised at all. Your vast collection.
Vast. So if you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel, Book Buds!
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.
Shucks.
Lots of activity. What is this? It's like
Spider web?
eggs.
That's
See,
like sap or oh, is it
Ugh.
eggs? I don't know. Sign us off, bud.
Oh God, yeah, please. I can't deal with spider eggs. Ready?
Yeah.
So if you're enjoying book bugs,
Dude, you can't.
is that for real? Did that come out?
Yeah, you said bugs.